Thanks for joining me. We're going to go ahead and make some sweet potato pies. What I did was I started by baking the sweet potatoes. They're a little bit more creamy that way. And to also get going, we're going to put our pie crust in the oven. I just have some ready-made pie crust here. We're going to put those in the oven while we put everything else together so the pie crust can get a little bit of a head start and be a little more crispy. Using my grandmother's recipe, which it is for 3 pies, and I'm going to alter it to make about 2 pies. So I'm going to also be using some butter that I've already melted here, and we're going to have just a dash of cinnamon. We're going to have some sugar, and we're going to also have some canned milk. So I'm going to stick the pie crust in the oven, and then I'm going to also take out the potatoes from the skin and go ahead and cream those in a bowl of its own. Oh, here is the crushed ginger. I used 1 little cube of this. I don't know if you've ever seen it in the frozen section, but it's pretty handy. So you can take 1 cube out as you need it, and I did put it into the butter, which the amount of butter I used is 1½ sticks to go along with roughly 1½ cups of cooked sweet potato. So I'm going to get that going. Okay, so now we have our creamed sweet potato, and it's roughly 1½ cup of sweet potato. And again, in order to get it so soft, I baked it at 350 for about 2½ to 3 hours, and then the skin will just peel off of the potato, and I used 2 potatoes. So next we're going to put our wet ingredients in here. Some people prefer to totally mix their wet ingredients separately, but I'm going to just do it all in one container here. So the recipe calls for eggs, and again I'm modifying that, so I'm only going to put 3 eggs here. And then it also calls for sugar, and I am placing a little over a full cup of sugar. Just a little bit over. It also calls for melted butter, and I used 1.5 sticks of melted butter with 1 of those small cubes of ginger. So I'm going to put that in. And the recipe also calls for the canned milk, and I'm going to use roughly 3/4 of the can. So I'm not going to use the entire thing. And what you can do with the rest of your milk is to put it in your homemade macaroni and cheese if you'd like to do that. I'm going to go ahead and mix this with the hand mixer. Another tip for you, if you would like cinnamon or nutmeg, you can add a little bit. We like a little bit of cinnamon, so I'm just going to put a little bit in there, a little less than a teaspoon. If you like nutmeg, you can add that in there to your liking. Another tip though, you can add a little bit of flour if you'd like it to be a little more dense and not so loose, but we like ours a tad bit loose. So I'm gonna go ahead and blend that. I'll be right back with you. Okay, so this clip shows where everything is combined. Then I had to go ahead and pour the batter into the pie crust, which had baked maybe 10 minutes already. And then the last picture there shows the end product.